Hello, my name is Sam Bass. Today I'll be talking about my project for 5160 or 3160. And with this, my final project is a plant monitoring station in which currently I'm using a succulent, but it could be doing for other plants. And I'm focusing on three main features that are important to plants. First, the amount of water or moisture in it. So I have this moisture sensor. Then I also have temperature with this temperature sensor here, and also a light sensor or photoresistor here to be seeing how bright it is in the room. With that, these are all analog inputs, and I'm currently using the plus but also grounding, and not just the plus and minus of the inputs. And then I'm also outputting whether or not the plant is good or not with green or red. You know, ideally you'd have it hooked up to perhaps like a pump to pump more water to the plant, but I don't have that. But I still wanted to have it doing an output. With that, when the data is being sent, it comes to here to the front panel of LabVIEW, in which on the left side is current readings, and then on the right is kind of the current but also past readings. With that, I go temperature, light, and then moisture. And also with the current, I have a gauge of some sort that's helping read it, that makes sense in terms of what it's reading, but also a string that's saying what should be done, or if nothing needs to be done, if it's in a good situation. So right now the over time ones look pretty consistent, but also the temperature ones is not really changing that much, in the 71 to 73 range. But for example, if you look at the light, when I cover it up, it's going to decrease till 0, just because I figured with it being black it should be 0, as in no light. Alternatively, with water, you can see it says it's dry, but when I add some water here, you got to be careful though, of course, because not all the sensor is protected. When I start adding water, you can see it going up, and then you can see it says, hey, right amount of water, and then fortunately also then it will change to green to say it's good. And then of course I put a little bit too much in, but it'll decrease since it's a little bit dry. So that's that. When I look at how it actually works, there's a couple of main segments. There's the data coming in, splitting it up. I have different conversions taking place with sub-VIs. Then I sort of average the data out to get rid of noise. Then I'm displaying it here in this section, and then this is my outputs, whether it be the strings or the output light. The conversions aren't overly complex, just so they make sense. In terms of here for temperature, it's converting it to Celsius and then to Fahrenheit. In terms of moisture, it's more so with how it was working, it was as you added water it would decrease, but I wanted the inverse. So this is sort of making it go the opposite way. Instead of decreasing, it increases with using the max and min. And then for the light, it's more so just getting values that make sense. So instead of really small, having a value it's bigger. And then overall, I also have logic going in. So I have my overall logic that's taking place, which is then telling which LED to light up based on, you know, 1 or 2, based on the pins. But within each type has its own logic also, which then, you know, is more so based on, you know, for succulents, fortunately they're more so simpler. So like for temperature, it's between like 40 to 80. For moisture, from what I was testing, they want it to be really dry, but then you don't want it to be like muddy, so that 1.2 to 2 range, 1.25 to 2 range, and then based on that, taking different logic. And then overall, I also am saving the data to spreadsheets, not just the values coming in, but also the actions that are taking place. So I have it going light, temperature, and then moisture, and then the same thing but with actions. And then I also have it with having headers here with this part. So overall, it's being saved to a comma separated value. And that's it. So far it seems to be working fine. There's more things that could be adjusted in terms of more specific per different plants, and probably getting even more specific in conditions, but overall it works for, you know, a more simple beginner that wants to learn how to grow plants. So thank you for watching this video.